right, let's give this a go. So we're glad you're here this afternoon. If you're painting with friends or painting on your own, if you want to tell us how many people are in your little paint party today, I'm going to have an exciting time with you today, helping you get this painting. Oops, if I try to make it better, then I sometimes make it worse. Sometimes you should just leave good enough alone, I guess, huh? All right. So if you can tell us. Oh, I see Dana's watching us. Who else is watching us? I see some other people out there. Well, I'm going to show you some of the paintings I've done that have to do with this one. I've done it a couple of different times. So this is the version that was the original version I did. Under there is my white canvas for today. Here's another version. And this is, the amount of flowers on this one might be what we get done today, because this took a little bit longer than the hour, but we'll get you here and then you'll be able to add more if you'd like, or you can leave it like that. And then I did one other, because you could do something different with it. You could add a dragonfly. You could add a butterfly. This, you all have seen me, if you watch my programs before, that I paint on my Corel plates. And then what I do is I let the water, let it dry all the way. This is totally dry. And then I put water on it and I slough off the paint after it sat there for a while, because it will peel off of this Corel plate. I've done this many times. Hi, Paula. Thanks for watching, Paula. And so then I created the butterfly. I let it dry and I created this butterfly shape from that, and I traced around it with black. It says officially one in my group, but two little ones are doing their own painting alongside us. Well, cool. You know, I was an art teacher. I like it when we have people coming along the side and teaching that next generation. So that's how they learn. All right, well, I'm going to put my paintings back out of the way a little bit. All right. So I try to go simple with it. I don't like to be a complex person like with this. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to have fun. I want you to learn. Some people ask me, what kind of brushes do I have? Well, random. Some of them have been used a lot by children because I teach classes. And I let my granddaughters get into my brushes. I have a few I stick back that are really small, but I just use whatever. I mean, there are brushes that would be better or worse or whatever. I throw in a few paint brushes from the house. You know, I sometimes use, here, I brought some swabs in. Or even with some flowers, sometimes I will use one of these. Some of my nurse friends brought these to me the first time I ever saw them, and now they actually sell them at some of the stores. I go simple with this. I use a canvas board when I'm painting with you. You know, you could put this into watercolor, you could put this into tempera, you could put this into a lot of different directions. However, it doesn't have to be hard. You could also, you know, this is just one of those cheap, going to one of those stores that you get things really cheap, and I just buy a whole bunch when I find them, and then I've got them ready to paint. Okay, let's see. I'll tell you some other stuff like that along the way, but let's get started and get a background going. So I want to draw on here my circle. Now, on some of those, that's, you know, the moon, that we're kind of seeing through the grass and the moons. And I'm just going to draw sketchy lines, and you can probably just barely see my lines. There. I do a sketchy kind of line, and then that way I can get my circle right. Now, you could use something if you have, you know, something like the plate or something smaller that you want to use. You could do that. That's for sure. Now, I'm going to want to make this a lighter white color. You could even put it more into a little bit of yellow with it. And then I'm going to squirt some white and some blue paint here. Now, when we do a painting like this, we are wanting to do it fairly quick. It's quite a bit like, you might consider it just filling in a drawing that you have, that you've drawn with crayons, and you've done crayons on it, and you've done a color sheet, or some of those adult color sheets we have now. It's not about being really fancy with it. And I like to take a bigger brush. So I have my blue on there. Now I'm going to put some white. I also use just the big ones. I do red, yellow, blue, orange. Sometimes I have some orange in there. Sometimes I mix it. And then I just do black and white. So red, yellow, blue, black and white, and that gets you there. I can show you how to make it. I mean, you can spend the money on that other, and you're welcome to do that. However, after all those years of teaching elementary school children, I tend to do it this way, because that way I can teach them about mixing while we're doing it. And then I want this to be the sky. And remember, I'm not gonna do my circle. And I think I'm gonna make it where it goes like this around it, just because that's kind of the direction that those plants are gonna go. And I'm sorry, we're just a bit late here, but I went in, I had everything fixed. I went to try it, turn everything on, and my hair dryer that I have to dry my canvas, it came on, and it shut off everything that was plugged into that outlet. So I had to run out and get some extension cords. I tried to unplug, replug, it didn't happen. So I called our sweet lady, Cheryl, that's our library lady, and said, Cheryl, I'll be on, but it might just be a little bit later. Hi, Naomi. Good to see you. So we're just getting this in. I use a lot of brushes. I don't like confine myself to rinsing out and just having one brush. I just have a lot of different types. And I just switch out because I want to do it. It's about me doing it fast and getting it complete. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of time in my life. I'm time short. I'm always trying to get a lot done. At this point in my life, I babysit for my granddaughters in the summertime, and so, you know, there's just not a lot of time. So I want something that I can get to a level of completeness in about an hour. And you saw what I did. I still have a brush. I still have paint in this brush. I'm going to see if I can pull my light over here so the shadows will go away. Because that was what I was trying to work on when I had my little snafu there. And so there's plenty of paint in there. So I want it to be close to the same. You know, we do have variety in the sky, that is true. But right now we're just trying to get a background color going. Just trying to get a background color. All right. Okay, and we are a little dark there. Okay, that's a little better. And I see that we've also already have the evaluation in. You know how you keep these programs coming? Mine or anybody's that you like coming to the library branch is you fill out the surveys, help them with the support of the money that it takes for getting the programs brought to you. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to try just this time maybe a white yellow. I'm going to put just a tad. You know, sometimes I even just squirt it right on the canvas. You know, I'm one of those people that I just try a lot of things. I'm not like feeling like I have to be stuck a certain way. And as you see, I do buy the great big ones of the different colors. Once in a while, I buy something else, but mostly just the great big ones. And this is the one I used in the blue. I didn't even rinse it out. Oops, I got a little white, that off-white color up there. We'll take care of that. That's the nice thing about acrylic. Even if you painted on this and then you decided you didn't like it, you can just repaint it. You can come back and just, totally just repaint on it. If you want to get a little bit lighter in the background, you can do that by painting the whole thing white. Gesso and some of those things cost more money, but you can do this. Of course, canvas is cheap now compared to what it used to be. It is certainly, we have some cheaper sources. Now I switched to this brush because I had too much paint in the other one, and I wanted that to be a little lighter. Okay, so now it's going to get just a little bit noisy because I did plug in my hairdryer to a different plug this time. But I'm going to get my hairdryer and I'm going to blow dry. I'm going to get this off here first. Yes, should an artist wear fingernail polish? I don't know. I haven't had to do any painting the last, since 4th of July. I painted my nails. I typically don't, just because I'm always into a mess. All right, here we go. So if you just barely cover it in, just like that, it's almost all dry right now. So that's the good thing about doing this. Now, if you are someone who's painted quite a bit and you want to add some more dimension to it, you know how you want to experiment with it, hey, that's great. Go ahead and work on those kinds of things. I'm just trying to get a painting complete in an hour. That shows you some new techniques, hopefully, that you don't know, and encourages you to have some time, maybe just even by yourself. If you're by yourself, just a little fun. Now, on these steps of the stems, because we're looking in to a peaceful, quiet world. When I do this, that's what I think about. I'm looking into a peaceful, quiet world. A world of the insects, or maybe a world of pretend, if you did fairies or something else in there that you might like. So I'm going to practice my finger a little bit. And I might even, sometimes I practice a brush, especially if you haven't done some of this before, or if you have a child who's doing it with you, you might think about that. Just practicing those steps. That kind of gets your brain going into the curve that you want, because we want those plants to curve up. Let me show you again. We want those plants to curve up. Be thinking about maybe what colors you want for your flowers. They don't have to be the colors I choose. You're welcome to choose whatever you want. Maybe something that goes with the decor of your house, or maybe you intend to give it to someone. Sometimes when I do a lot of brushes, because you probably heard that little noise back there, I'm going through and trying to figure out which one's the softest. Which one do I really want to use? Some of this, that me being simple like this, comes from my roots of being in the elementary class. I taught art at Chapel Lakes Elementary for 23 years. I've been retired now for 7. And I so enjoy, I enjoy retirement, but I enjoy the fact that MCPL, our library system, lets me have a chance to still continue teaching. Now I need to load up that paintbrush a little more, because it'd be nice. And when I do this, I like to stand So it will be easier. I feel like I'm a better presenter when I stand. It'll probably be easier for you than me because I'm standing and bending a little bit. I tried doing it the other way, and where you're looking at my easel, and yes, the paint dripped. The paint dripped off. So that didn't work very good. So I'm going to go, even if it fades out like that, I'm going to just keep going with it and then reload my brush and go back with it. And when I do this, you'll see that I usually put my little finger down. See, my little finger's right there. I put that little finger down to kind of help guide me. And I want to bring the level up a little more. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some broad strokes like this. And you don't want them to be even. You want them to be, plants aren't even. They're pretty uneven if we get to looking at them. So you want some variety. You want some rhythm. And then when I do these, I want to bring these up close to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stroke these in. And then I'm going to come back and kind of do a little bit more. I'm just wanting to see the balance of what my painting looks like. All those art words. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Yes, I used to sing that in my classroom. It kept them going when it was kind of something like this. It was a little bit on the boring side. They wanted something with more excitement. Which I don't know if I've seen Paula on here before. She's actually, should I tell them Paula? She actually might be a friend from a really long time ago. I ran into her this summer at a high school reunion. But she taught school too, so we have a lot in common. Okay. So, and it gets easier, I think, after I kind of get that line drawn. And if I mess up a little bit, I'll put a flower there, okay? If I mess up there, I'll put a flower there. I'll put a leaf there. You know, it's not hard. I want to encourage you to finish a painting, and then you can always get better. You know, I've seen many artists who is a lot better than me at painting, and they have a lot of unfinished paintings. You know, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to get in there, and you got to go for it. Got to set a goal. I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish. And I also don't want to make it perfect because I don't want you to think, well, look what she did, and I can't do like that. I never want someone to feel that. I'm sure I've made more mistakes than most anybody ever has when it comes to painting and doing art. You name it, I've made it. Okay. Well, I want to stop a minute. I do what my college professor said. I want to stop a minute and go, whoa, let's see. What do I need to do next? He said you should spend half your time looking, stepping back and look at your painting. What your job is as the painter of this painting, your job is to get them interested when they walk into wherever this painting is. Whether it be like on mine, sometimes I put it on the piano a while before I decide what I'm doing with it, or I'm hanging it up. It's to get them to want to look at it, but not only look at it. You want them to come closer. You want them to come closer and go, oh, whoa, look at that. Look at that detail in there. Oh, I didn't see that. This would be a fun one to add some little insects in, especially if you have little guys that come to your house. See how I'm not making these definite leaf shapes. I'm just kind of going out to the sides, just kind of filling in some of that space with some of that green. Looks like to me that's a little bit different than what I did in some of the others. I don't it sometimes is how that design hits me when I'm working on it. I'm not sure that I don't like to get within a routine of it has to be a certain way. This is about, your way. What do you want your way to be with it? This might be a fun one. I actually do have an ill friend right now. This might be one that I might just package this one up and send to her. We call ourselves, we have several friends together that we went to college together, actually. And we've been trying to support her through this illness. And we call ourselves the Bees because of the initials of our names. We came up, that is a little acronym for us. So maybe I'll have to paint a bee in here after I kind of get the flowers going and all on top of some of this. And then I'll mail it to her. I like that idea. Did you think of that? You all helped me think of that idea today. I've not done that with any of these before. See, I never know. Anybody ever taken one of my classes online before? I never know if people have or haven't. If you have, you might tell me. We have this great library called MCPL. That is for sure. I still remember the first programs I started doing after I retired. I started doing the programs and I walked in and went, I hadn't been too much because I'm not an adult reader. I like to research and I like books and I like knowledge, but I'm not just sit down and read a book. And I went in and I went, whoa, look at all those programs they're doing. And it's a little hard during COVID, but they pulled together virtual programs, and then now they're going back with in-person programs, but continuing virtual programs. Actually, I've been in the office with the videographer, and I put some of these on videos, and they're going live on YouTube from time to time. So you'll have to look on MCPL's YouTube channel and see if you can find some of them. I love to learn, and I love to learn from other people. I love to experiment. You know who's really fun to learn from? And that's if you have children that you create with or paint with, because they haven't been conditioned like we have. Oops, that leaf went down instead of up. Oh well, some of them do go a little different. And so sometimes they think they see it a different way than we do. And I find that so much fun. I have learned so much from the children I have taught along the way. What's your favorite color? What color are you going to paint your flowers? Are you going to paint it your favorite color? Or are you going to paint some other colors? See if I, all right, let's see. Now this one definitely is going to have a lighter color as far as the background goes than the other. All right. Now I'm going to use the hairdryer again because then I want to now start coming back in and doing some flowers. Now, if you would like to make these stalks of the flowers a little more dimensional, what you could do is you could do one of two things, and that would be you could use a little bit of red mixed in with your green. I'm going to put a little red in my paint over here on the side, and I could use my green brush and dip it into the green and then just a teeny bit in the red. Because if you use the complementary color, it helps with that. You could go back with this. Now, some people, when they're doing paintings like this, I think this is up to what you want to do, but some people will go back and outline. You know, years ago, the art teacher said, oh, no, don't do that. Well, it just becomes a mixed medium. So I say that's up to you. I mean, sometimes I realize that your skills aren't as good with paintbrush as they are with, say, a Sharpie. Or I've been known to use pencils, Sharpies, ink pens, whatever will write on my canvas. But you can start to see a little bit of, you know, shading in that one. You could do that. These leaves might be fun, and we might, if we have time, I'll do some. But just to go back in here, I a lot of times will use a pencil on those just because it gives you that idea of a line, but it does not, it doesn't make it real bold. It also kind of shines just a teeny bit from the lead content of the pencil. All right, I sometimes use swabs. I sometimes use these, the little sponges. I sometimes use just a brush. I try to pick a brush that I think will make a good little spot on there. You can paint circles. I'm just telling you lots of different options of what works good. So this brush, this one right here, I am going to rinse it out because I want that one because I like the shape of it. Now, let's see, I'm a red girl when it comes to the color I like, my favorite color. However, I really liked these, the ones I did in pink and then the yellow. It just gave it a softer tone than the other. You know, this is something you can try some smaller flowers out on there. If you don't like them, you can paint them over. If you do like them, they'll be good. And then, or you can try on the side. You can always try something on the side, on a piece of paper on the side. If you're unsure, that's one of the best ways to do it. So I want pink. So in case you don't remember, pink is a tint of red. So what I did is I put white here and red here. Now, I like to try to keep this paint fairly pure so that if I want to paint something else, I can. So I take the darker color and add just a little bit over into the lighter color. I don't want to mix it all up because if I do and I don't like that color, I've wasted a lot of paint. Plus, when you look at a petal of a flower. They're not necessarily like a solid pink color. Some of them are sometimes, but a lot of them have different shades or tints in there. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just do like this. So this time I'm going to paint the side of my paintbrush. So I'm just taking my paintbrush and going down with it. Looks like I still have a little green in there, but you know what? It kind of works out because it looks like the center of the flower. Now, I did read something the other day about it being on a turntable. I think in this case, using this brush like I am, that would be a really good thing to do. Which is to put this on a turntable. I even found an old turntable I had in the cabinet at the old house, and I can't use it at this house. So I brought it upstairs the other day, and I'm going to try that out, but I think it would be real good. But the good thing about this is you're making fairly good sized flowers, and then you can add some of those smaller flowers later. And you see, I don't have to dip it in there every time. I could if I wanted more color, but I kind of like the variety. If I didn't quite get the shapes like I want, then I can go back. Okay, I'm going to add a little more red. That's the side effect of not being able to go sideways, is for you all to see me mix with that paint every time. I practiced on it last night on my own YouTube channel, not YouTube channel, on my own Facebook page that goes with my business, and I did it right 10 times. I even tried it out this morning. I am glad that we live in an age of technology, though. I certainly enjoy. You all might laugh what I did, but there was a really cool looking, it's actually crabgrass in my front yard. And it had raindrops on it, just been raining a lot. And it just looked really fun. So I took a picture of the grass. I don't know what to do with it. And then I got to thinking, I cleared out the background. I have one of those programs I clear out the background. And so what I did is I cleared out the background. And I thought, well, that looks like those fascinators on hats that some of those ladies wear, especially the wild looking ones. So I put it on top of my head. It was fun. I like technology. I like art. And those who know me know I like history too. All right, what color are your flowers? Hi, Connie. Good to see you. Of course, I'll post this on MCPL's 360 here when I'm finished, and you can come back to it and see it. And then this one will also eventually be on that YouTube channel from the MCPL, from Mid-Continent Public Library. Sometimes they call it one, and my library lady, Cheryl, she might be able to tell you the MCPL's YouTube channel there. I think that one's just Mid-Continent Public Library. There also are a number of other classes that teach about art that you might like. There's some that are, in the branches of the different branches of the library. There are some that are on others. They have another section that's some learning sections that have classes. Those are kind of nice. And of course, there's always books. Books are good. I like that paper content. Touching that paper sometimes just a wonderful thing. Okay, I'm going to put a few more of these pink flowers, and then I'm going to switch to another color. But see, I'm just kind of loading my paintbrush. I'm letting it happen as it goes. Here, let me see, show you. I just kind of take it, just kind of dip it in here, dip it in there. And then that way each time it's a little bit different. And I'm going to try to spread these out a little bit, because I do want some balance in my painting. You need rhythm, you know, the same thing over and over for some of it. Then you need the balance between that and variety. All right, we're getting there. And you could go through and decide where you want these ahead of time and paint a center. Okay, I think I'm going to put one more here, and then I'm going to switch to a different kind of flower. This might be a fun project if, you know, you had a family get-together and you had done the stems of the flowers ahead of time, or maybe a shower, a wedding shower or a baby shower, and you wanted something, a keepsake that the person could have, of the people that were there. This would be a fun one for you to fix in the background and then be able to do some of that with it. All right, I'm going to show you, I'm not sure that I put it down in the ad, but I'm going to just do a couple flowers with this just so you can see what it's like in case you wanted to go buy one of those for yours. I'm going to add, I think I'm going to make that yellow. I'm just going to do a couple. So I don't, if I didn't put something in the ad, I really don't like to use it much. So you can do something, this is more of a rectangle shape. If you have an old sponge at your house, you can also just cut a piece of that. And if you have a clothespin, you could use it. Or you might be able to just, you can masking tape a little piece of sponge to a little dowel stick. I keep things like out of a corn dog or a popsicle stick or a craft stick. But that lets you know what that looks like. Now, the little ones, which I do think this one was in the ad, I do the swab. Now, the swabs tend to like have a tail on them sometimes. So I sometimes just go ahead and pull it off. And then I'll lick my finger and twist it real good. Okay. Now, since red is my favorite, I'm going to do some little red ones. Now, I'm going to do these like I did this kind. I'm just going to put some dots around. 4 or 5 dots. This is the red, like this, or whatever color you would choose. It kind of brings some unity to it. When you're doing this, you want to make sure, sometimes you have to just take the artist's license here. Maybe these little red flowers are only growing in a certain spot. So unless you really want it to be more realistic, you might just want to go ahead and put a few up there just to kind of unite the design. And then you could go back with that swab and you could do a little yellow. If you want the yellow to be a little more pure in it, looks like I need to not do that because I'm not getting a little dot in there like I want. So I'm going to go to a paintbrush. Trusty, dusty paintbrush. Okay. This yellow that I have is thinner. You know, sometimes I was teaching the granddaughter about thicker body paints the other day. The only thing about teaching classes with thicker body paints is that kind of paint costs a lot more to get. And you use a lot more of it than you do the craft paint. It takes longer to dry. There's just a lot of things about it. You can get a more detailed design. That's true. That's what we used in college. Oh, the texture like Van Gogh has in a lot of his paintings, and Monet and some of those guys. They're thicker body paints. And sometimes I just want to have fun. I just want to have a little fun. Okay, I think I've got most of them. Well, I'm kind of thinking that I need to probably switch and do this because I don't want to run out of time on us being able to accomplish that middle piece there. There's the dragonfly like I did. A dragonfly is really hard to capture because those wings are so thin. There's my paint butterfly. And then this one is a little, there we go. All right. So I'm going to put 2 smaller wings and 2 bigger wings. I'm thinking I like that light blue color, like on the one that I just showed you. So let's see if I can get my pencil. Oh, I was going to tell you even too on these, on the flowers, pencil erasers. Let me show you with white. Pencil erasers make a great little circle. You have to add paint quite often to it. But the deal about that is everybody has some. You know, we all have some pencils around that could be used. All right, I'm going to sit down just a minute and I'm going to kind of sketch in. I'm going to make his long tail up into the body. I'm going to do the antennas. And this is more a, it's got some butterfly, dragonfly characteristics, but it's just more of my creative license with it. All right, now I'm going to paint that a light blue. And then I'm going to come back in with some other colors. All right, light blue, where are you? Let's get some blue out because I need to make a tint of blue. I need blue. And then I'm going to add a little white to it because I only bought one color of blue. So see, I have my white. And I have my white and blue there. And I'm going to take my blue and go over here. Because I don't want it really dark. My mom always liked blue. My sister likes blue. I just happen to be like my dad's mom. She liked red. You want to know a joke though? She always said it was the Indian blood in her. Well, I don't know. I did the DNA. I'm not so sure we have Indian blood. I think that just must have been an oral history story in their family. Sometimes we have those kind. Yes, I did go and prove some at the Midwest Genealogy Center. That's a great place to go into a little genealogy. Ladies are really nice to help you. I have a number of friends that work there. So I'm just going to paint the whole thing in. And I'm going to come back and do a little bit of outlining. Okay. Looks like I'm a little bit uneven here. Now I'm going to find me a small brush. You could on this do a small brush. You could do Sharpies for those decoration, you know, if you want to add a little decoration or color within that. You do not want to use a Sharpie on this painting until it's totally dry. Because if you do, goodbye Sharpie. Chances are real good that you'll mess your Sharpie up. I've got some red out here. Let's see about some little red dots. I'm going to use a really little brush. If you don't have a little brush, toothpick might work. Just, you know, see what you have around that you could use. Or a sharpened pencil. You know, all of this, ideas like this come from being a classroom teacher, art teacher on a budget. You got to make it work. And I always wanted to give my students as many experiences as I could. One of the things I used to keep would be, you know, sometimes the metal part comes off the brush. Keep this, sharpen it in the pencil sharpener, and when you need a little dot of some kind, you've got it. You know, you can just use that, or if you like to do some kind of clay. See, I'm getting it going better down here. If I were doing this on my own, I would probably have practiced a little bit more. It sometimes helps. I'm going to go back and thicken these since I like the little ones better, but since the others are that way. Okay, I'm going to go down the back. A little bit of design here. And I painted the antennas last time I did this. However, I think they show up too much because it's really, really hard to get a really thin line with painting unless you've got a super thin paintbrush that your granddaughters haven't used. See, that's what's wrong with mine. You can kind of see maybe. I think a granddaughter must have used this one because it's a really little brush. But she's been really enjoying learning to paint. And I can buy brushes later. I can buy some more. I actually unpacked a few more the other day, so I've got a few more than I did before. Since I teach classes, I have a lot around. Okay. Now, I think I need a little blue. I want to add a little blue in there. Add a little more design. Anybody have any questions? If you have questions and you think of them later, I try to monitor for a while so that I want to be as helpful as I can. It's hard, a little harder on a virtual program. See, this would be something that, if you're not used to painting small, using that Sharpie, just letting it dry, and using Sharpie with, even to add more flowers with Sharpie. Like I said, there are those art people who, you know, say, no, no, no. Well, if you're just doing it for you, you know, I say do what pleases you. Make it, that just, you know, just changes it maybe to a mixed medium if you use those kind of tools. Let's see. I think of stories I've told before, and I never know on these programs if people have listened to all my stories. Because I think one of the best ones that I like to tell is the fact that I went to someone's house one time. It was when I taught preschool, and they had a painting on the fireplace of people. And I looked at it, I was waiting on them, they were getting their son to come out to talk to me. He was being a little shy. And I thought, is that really them? Could that really be them? Well, they did have the right color hair. And all the people in the painting were thin. Well, I guess it is. It's on the fireplace. And so, I did a painting of myself and my husband. In our engagement picture, I had painted a portrait, and I didn't really like it. I didn't quite get it finished, and just wasn't ever satisfied. I got it. I did it enough to get, you know, an okay grade on it, and I just quit. And I thought, if they could do that, I went home. I found that painting behind the chest of drawers, and I put it on the wall. And it's been on the wall in every bedroom we've had since then. I just thought, well, if they pay a lot of money for somebody to do that kind of job, I'm just going to do ours. Now, another thing I did on this painting is I added little white dots with a swab, a little bit of glitter. On the original one, I did a little glitter. And kind of brings in that little bit of a unity. I think since we chose a lighter background this time, that a little bit of darkening with yellow, even with a pencil around. Let's see what this pencil is. I just come back in here like this. That's going to give it more of that moon kind of shape. I shouldn't say shape. We've got the moon shape there, but just the moon as it's getting darker. And if you do this too early, then yes, you get paint all over your arms. All over your hands and arms. So it's going to be time, even though we started a little bit late. I think maybe like, Cheryl, you think about like 5 more minutes? If I do like 5 more minutes, we'd be all right with that. See, that's starting to make it slide back into the back. You could do that with paint. That's, you know, that's for sure. Oh, it looks like I did not put little blue lines over here. Okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put paint. I'm going to put that into blue. I'm looking from a distance. And I decided I think it needs it. See that? Getting up and looking from a distance is a really good thing. Okay, I'm going to put a little white on swabs. You could make some little lightning bugs as you go. If you want this to be a little darker, then instead of that blue, lighter blue, you can add some darker blue in there. See, if I go back through this, I may even take some of this darker color down into that green. As I'm looking at it here, I might decide I want to do that. I also think I'd like to have a little glitter. So when I do glitter, I just do a pinch. You don't want tons of glitter. You want just a pinch. Hi, Stephanie. A pinch kind of gives it a magical feeling. And you could put a little bit of glue on it. However, sometimes glue gets a little too much. And with this, you don't get as much. And you can just kind of shake it off. And over time, it does lose a little bit of it. But you could also go back in and put a little more paint on it. Let's see if I shake it a little bit. That gives it a little bit of a glossier feeling. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep adding a little bit. Have you ever sat outside as the sun's going down and you wondered what it was like down in the grass with all those flowers and insects? The magic of what's in the garden. Let's see. I need some more red in here. It doesn't take much paint. And I guess today is proof that lots of things can go wrong and you can still pull off a painting. Now, if you wanted some flowers, you could just do like this. I like how loading that brush, which we talked a little bit about it, but you can load the brush with the two colors, the red and then back into white. And then you can do some things like this. It can just be simple things. There's so many simple ways that it can be done. and come out with a nice effect. Just remember, there's no one right way and there's no wrong way. It's a choice. It's just simply a choice. Set it somewhere, look at it, come back to it. I put a little bit of green in there. So see, I've still got my pink and my red, but I've just put a little bit of green because I think that gives it that little bit of depth. Remember, there's ways to give it depth. It's just when you do a painting really fast like this, it's hard to give it much depth. We talked about that with this one stem where we put red. Now, the other way you could do that is with black. Black is a harsh. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Well, if you like my program, if you could write a little comment, that helps out. I do love doing programs for MCPL, and I'm constantly trying. Yes, this is proof you should not rub your finger on there before it's dry. I was trying to get some of that glitter off. Yes, I messed up. But if you like my style, just simple paintings, trying things out, teaching something in an hour, then please make sure to tell our fine library people about that. And be watching for more programs of mine, and there'll be some of those on YouTube too. Well, thank you, MCPL. I really enjoy teaching for you all, and I will look forward to next time. All right, thank you. This is Sarah Poff, the multimedia storyteller. You have a great day now.